Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, along with former Acting Director of National Intelligence Rick Grenell. Congressman, first, thank you for sharing all of this with us. This is all predictable. Now, we see Russia gets a waiver for natural gas for Putin, so Russia's getting rich again. We see that the president's silent on the hostility and the hostile maneuvers in Taiwan airspace with their fighter jets. We now hear from Joe's Iranian envoy that it's likely we won't stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. And now we're going to let the Taliban into America and take them off the terror watch list? Tell me what part of that is smart.
Yeah, Sean, you know, here's the deal. Biden's lying. He's lying about working with good terrorists versus bad terrorists. You can see from those pictures and those women that are being brutalized, this is the largest crisis for women's rights I think, in world history. He's lying about the number of Americans left behind, because these brave veterans organizations, thank God for them, are getting Americans out every single day. And the biggest thing, you know, that he's either lying or clueless, I don't know, is that America's just as safe. This long-range, over-the-horizon, drone-only strategy with no bases, no allies, no troops on the ground over there can keep us safe. We're on the road to another 9/11. But the good thing is, Sean, is, you know, the great Americans like the ones I'm with tonight in Flagler County, Florida, see right through this nonsense. And that's why you're seeing Biden's numbers tank, because enough is enough. The number one job of the federal government is to keep America safe, and we are far less safe. We're less safe than we were in 2001, and this cancer that is spreading in Afghanistan that you saw in those photos is going to spread outside of Afghanistan, is going to follow us home. But I, for one, and I think Rick feels the same way, are not going to wait until we have another Pulse nightclub or San Bernardino, or what we have now, a Taliban caliphate that's going to create another 9/11.
Rick, Joe says, and he claims that he has all the leverage, and that the Taliban are professional, and that they're candid, and they're businesslike. Is that how you characterize them?
No, absolutely not. I don't know how many times the foreign policy establishment in Washington, D.C. is going to look at failure after failure from Democrats. Let's be honest. We can go back to Bill Clinton. You can go back to the Obama-Biden days when the caliphate took over throughout Syria and Iraq and other places. Now we're seeing the debacle in Afghanistan. I would add to that the tensions and the hostilities along the border between Kosovo and Serbia. The Balkans are now feeling it. This is a vacuum of U.S. leadership, and elections matter. Elections actually matter to our safety, as the congressman is talking about. I don't think that we are more safe just from 8 months ago. Since Biden took over, we are less safe. And we need to be able to face that fact very clearly. When our enemies, they smell weakness, they see a difference between the threat of military action and a credible threat of military action. Right now, we don't have a credible threat. You look at the Chinese, you look at the Russians, you look at the leaders in the Balkans. We've got 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border. We could just go through country by country that's absolutely taking advantage of us right now. We don't have leadership in Washington. We don't have leadership in the White House. And Joe has just turned the page, and 62 days later, he's abandoned fellow Americans and hasn't mentioned them in 45 days. Unbelievable. Rick Grenell, thank you. Congressman, thank you, too. Thank you for sharing all that information with us.